Oh, come on! You gotta have something on you. Oh, the black vials. Okay, that works. And it was just like... What was this? The couple health poultices? I can deal with that. Thank you for your little donation, plus it gets me almost out of the level. But yeah, like... I was hoping for a little bit different, you know... by saying investigating the palace. And by that I meant something... like... I don't know... speaking with nobility, maybe, who can help me with all that stuff. Well, apparently not. So let me... I still don't know what this sounded about. Like, it sounds like some kind of the switch, but I'll worry about this later. So let me find any appropriate spot so I can reflect properly. I think I'll stay just here in front of the estate. So let's settle down for a couple seconds and let me analyze and summarize everything I managed to scrap about all these guys. I mean Haremont and Balin. So Balin is basically the son of the king, and Haremont is, or was, his trusted advisor. And seriously guys, this is quite a strong word in his resume. So it kinda basically tells us a little bit about their background, which is important to know while picking the site. It's number one. Number two is, while I was talking with the merchants, the traders say that the Prince Haremont is for the stability and tradition, you know, all that, while Balin, he is for the change. And what specifically piqued my interest, he wants to open the surface. So basically he would, how can I say it, cancel the law which would make any dwarfs on the surface as exiles. And number three, like when I was speaking with all of his advisors, like both of these advisors, Balin's advisors used what is it, intimidation and blackmail to get an advantage over them, while Haremonts are using coercion and bribery. So it's also kinda sneaky way to do this, but nonetheless. So the problem here is, like, they are not holy, like both of them. So it's like now choosing which benefits you would get. And you know, from this specific perspective, guys, I do not really care about what happened in the past, since it's the past, so the background doesn't really matter right here. It also like, you know, it also do not really matter that if he was the prince or the advisor. It's really not. It was just, you know, a work. But you know what they are standing for, that's what that was an important factor for me. Like, Harrowmont was for the stability and the tradition, and Balin was for the change. And these, how their spies were acting, like, Harrowmonts were using bribery and coercion, while Balins were using blackmailing and intimidation. So I really, guys, wish to know more about them so I could, get to know them better. But I think if that's all the info I am provided with, I think it's time for me to make the choice. And my choice then for the cast, group, whatever you call this, I'm choosing Balin for both reasons. Number one, he stands for the changes, because I'm thinking that even though I kinda respect Harrowmont's idea to continue their traditions, but so far their mentality, like, completely isolated from the rest. So, like, if the any dwarf goes onto the surface, that's it, they're exiles, and everything they were living before, it gets just crossed out, and they are basically non-existent in their world. So it's kinda, in my view, this is kinda disrespect of the rights,
I require a moment of silence to take in this magnificent sight.
Yeah, Lilian, I know, it is magnificent. And number two, like, the agents, like the means the agents were using for to get the benefit. Like, if I was assassin, I would approve Harrowmont's ways of bribery or encouragement, like, this sneaky backstabbing stuff, so to get an advantage. But I am straightforward person, and that is why I prefer, like, dealing with everything directly. So that is why the methods of Balin's agents are closer to my to the Mira's perspective. So that is why Balin would be the choice for this character. But I'm more than positive that next time I am playing any assassin, I would choose the Harrowmont, but not in this Let's Play. So what it says that I need to speak to Vartag in assembly chamber. So yeah, guys, this is my decision, and like, I didn't use any guide to do that, but honestly, guys, honestly, if I am making a mistake by choosing him, let it be my mistake of my first blind run.
I hope you're not wasting my time with more dithering. The choice I gave you was clear. If you want Balin to support you in your surface war, you'll have to help him take the throne.
Guys, since I am choosing to help Balin, I think it would be a nice idea to reveal the enemy's plans, since the Harrowmont and all his supporters are my enemy right now.
If you do, there can be no further business between us. Now, do you wish my prince's support, or will you risk everything to aid the usurper?
I know exactly what you wanted to do. Will you say the same thing?
Harrowmont tried using the same plot of land to buy the votes of both Lady Dace and young Lord Helmi. I have the promissory notes to prove it, but neither of them would listen to anyone they knew favored Balin. As a neutral party, you could present the evidence and convince them Lord Harrowmont plans to cheat them.
What can you tell me about both of these guys, so maybe I could find any specific means how to influence them?
I'm asking you to deliver a message, not enter marriage negotiations. Now, are you going to help or not?
In that case, I'll find them right now.
Don't bother me again without something to report.
Well, you are not very pleasant. I just hope that I just hope that Balin himself would be less rude, if you ask me. So
Legion of the Dead Warriors secretly wear Prince
no, I don't
Balin's
care.
colors.
Okay, I remember Lady Days. She was right here.
What do you want? Ah, I suppose you're the Grey Warden everyone's talking about.
You know, lady, you might... Oh, I think it might be a little bit nicer if I introduce myself first.
It's fascinating the surface has an entire order dedicated to fighting Darkspawn. Down here, that's just what fighting means. But I'm sure it's more difficult on the surface. It must be much harder to find them.
Yeah, probably, like, you know, from the... I'm trying to take the woman's perspective, even though it's a little bit harder than I think. I think we, like, you know, the women's are... Well, I know I'm talking about impossible and might be some kind of bullshit, but I'll say it anyways. Like, the women's structure is, they kinda gain their trust by talking, and the more they have in common to talk about, the bigger trust they grow between each other. So instead of directly handing her these documents, like, here, I'm a stranger, you wanna look at these papers, tell me about yourself.
I am. And what business would you have with me?
I hear you'll be voted for on the next king.
Now, is that an attempt to cozen me into revealing my choice, or are you simply making small talk? It's so hard to tell with you surface types. You're all so charmingly direct and artless.
Okay then, direct and artless, who are you voting for?
Who wants to know? It certainly can't be you. What interest would a Grey Warden have in who rules Orzammar?
Well, in that case, I hope you might wanna look at these papers, and which might actually influence your thinking.
Well, this isn't exactly a surface broadsheet. Where did you get these? Never mind. It is true enough, but there's nothing I can do about it. This deal was made on behalf of our entire house. Only my father can revoke it.
You know, I'd better bring this to him directly, I think. So where is he?
He is leading a Deep Roads expedition, trying to secure an ancient Tig. It's unlikely he'll be back before the election, but perhaps this vote is important enough for you to brave the tunnels to tell him? The Dace family would be in your debt.
But how would I know where to find your father?
He was searching an old Idukan site. He left me with this map, in case his expedition never returned. I'll give you a pass as well. Usually, no one is allowed past the front lines. Does that mean you'll go?
Yes, I live right now.
So Balin's victory means enough for you to risk your life. How interesting.
Okay, it looks like my carving of the
Warden arrives in Orzammar.
Balin's victory would be a little bit...
2 years tomorrow. By all the holy sodding ancestors, how can you people just ignore that?
Branka didn't go alone, Oghren. She took the whole house, everybody but you. So just get over to Tapster's and drown yourself already. You know as well as I do that's how this always ends.
You think I'm afraid of some cub warrior who's barely off the teat? Ha! I'll...
You lift a weapon or attack a single citizen in Orzammar, and you're stripped of your caste and exiled. Even you can't have forgotten that. Get out of here before I call a guardsman.
Okay, what was this all about?
Can you believe it? Ogren's barely even warrior caste anymore, and he just clomps in here like he's entitled.
Who are you at first?
I'm Loylanar Ivo, warrior, which is more than I can say for that useless sod.
Okay, you're not very friendly. And who was this guy?
Ogren's a drunken wretch. He comes up here 2-3 times a week, hounding people to lead some suicidal rescue mission after Branka. Gets quite violent about it. I'd be scared if they hadn't practically gelded him after he killed young Lord Mino.